Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. So as you can tell from the title, this video is going to be about my new Ariat boots and a 1 month review of those boots. They are the new type or a model, I suppose, that Ariat recently released called Divino, I think, which are meant to be like Italian calf leather and a whole shebang. And yeah, basically I thought it would be really interesting for you guys and useful for you if I gave you a little bit of a review on them. I've had them for about a month now, so I'm going to do sort of what they would like to break in and yeah, how they are to wear, to fit, things like that, and hopefully that'll be useful for you guys and whether or not you want to spend your coin, because they are not cheap, my friends. So yeah, story time to begin. I had to buy these basically because as an emergency. So the week before Swalcliffe Park, before I had to go there for the regional final, the zip on my Dinero boots came out. So basically when I was zipping it up and one of the teeth was like slightly out of line, which is normal, just happens sometimes, and so as I zipped up, the zip just came off. It didn't like completely off my hand, but it came off of, it was no longer on both sides, so it couldn't go up and down, it was just on one side. But obviously you can't, like it would be on a coat, but you can't, like on a coat, reattach it without taking the whole zip out. So that was annoying. So yeah, that happened. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's the week before an event and I don't have a pair of boots to wear. Because I contacted Dinero and they said they'd have to send them back to Italy to be repaired, which is fine, but also slightly not fine because of the coronavirus. No one at the time, even then it was quite early on in the virus coming out, no one was going to be, Italy I think and Spain were already on lockdown, so I wasn't going to be able to get them repaired by them anyway, and I found a cobbler's nearby but they said it'd take over a week, even if I had to send them off, things like that. So yeah, I was stuck in a bit of a sticky situation, and if I'm honest, I'd been wanting to get another pair of boots at some point so that I've got, because I used to have a yard pair that I just ride in every day, and then obviously have a competition pair, but my yard pair fully died a death this winter. Like all the leather peeled off, like the sole was coming off, like holes, everything. They were just an old, like a Mark Todd synthetic pair or something. They were not really the one, but yeah, they completely died. So I just had been wearing my Dineros every day, which is fine obviously, but yeah, so I was planning on buying another pair anyway, but obviously I hadn't, to be honest, I planned on going to badminton and getting Dineros to fit me another pair and keep my old Dineros as my everyday and have a new pair for competing, because I love those boots. I just love them so much. Because of the situation, I was slightly forced to go and find another pair. The only place we've got nearby to us here is a place called Wadswick, which is a really posh, like high-end country store. They stock like Holland and Cooper, Ariat, Fairfax and Favour, everything. It's a really nice shop. It's one of those you go in and you're like, oh, I could do some damage in here. But yeah, so I had to go there in my lunch break in the lead up to Swalcliffe and try and find a pair of boots. So I got there and they stock quite a lot of Ariat. I think they had pretty much the full range of Ariat. And maybe some tread step, but if I'm completely honest, the style of tread step does not suit me. It does not appeal to me. I think they might have had one other company, that name escapes me. But yeah, so they had those two and Ariat, so it was kind of, I was a little bit stuck for choice. So I tried on all the Ariats that they had there. I tried on, I think they're called their Field Master or something. I'll put the name here and probably a picture or something up. And that they just did not suit my leg type. So the things I find with Ariat especially is the model that you buy, you should buy the model that suits your leg. It's not necessarily the size that they make in that model that's so much the issue, but like the type that they are would be better suit a certain leg shape better. But yeah, so this is my first pair of Ariats, because if I'm honest, all the models that I'd seen from them before and tried on before just did not suit my leg shape. They were kind of too wide around the ankle and then quite tight around the calf, and they do tend to be more of a suit a straighter leg, which is usually suited someone who's a bit taller than me, which unfortunately not blessed in the height department. But yeah, so these, I tried on all of the other ones that they had there, the slightly more affordable ones, but they just didn't suit my leg shape. I think if you have that kind of leg shape, I think they'd be perfect, like that slightly sort of less pronounced calf, should we go with. Definitely they've got sort of more the kind of things you, but I have got quite big calves, if you can see, and not the slimmest ankles, unfortunately, but you know, slimmer ankles and very small feet. So I said to the lady, could I please try on the Divino ones, because I could see them on the shelf and they looked like they'd be a better shape for me. So she brought them out, tried them on. I literally put the zip up and I was like, I have never ever tried on a pair of boots that fit so well straight out the box. Like, zip went tight, but like straight up easily enough, and on both legs just fit immaculately, and just I was absolutely gobsmacked. I was very sad for my bank account. That was just, she's a spenny. So, being the bad YouTuber that I am, I did not film an unboxing because I'm terrible. I don't have them sort of fresh out the box. I'm going to put now, I took a screen recording of what they look like on Ariat's website, obviously brand new, so that you guys can kind of see how they would look. But I do have everything that they came with in the box, and so I can talk to you a little bit about that now. So this is the left boot, here we go, that I've basically like scrubbed this and polished these as if I was going to go to an event tomorrow. Sadly not. But so this one is completely clean and as it would have looked out of the box realistically, maybe a bit more shiny if I do say so myself. But yeah, so this is them as they would have looked out of the box. So, and then so this one, oops, I haven't polished, so you can kind of see what they maybe look like on a more like day-to-day basis compared to like how they would look if you were like prepped for a competition, if you know what I mean. So I thought that might be kind of a useful comparison for y'all. My horse is a bit dandruffy, so we've got a bit of a white ankle moment compared to the other side. But yeah, so let's talk about what you get for your coin, because as you may have seen in the screen recording just then, they cost about 500 squids. I think they were 499 and like 95 pence when I bought them at Wadswick, so these are not cheap. So let's discuss the pros. So they do come with these, which I'm pretty sure most Ariat boots do, but these are, I can't actually remember what they're called. Are they like a, mind blank, boot tree, that's the one, boot trees. And these are so ideal. So you literally just zip up the boot and then slide these bad boys in. And I think this is so integral to keeping your boots in good condition, because it means you don't get wrinkling around this situation and they're not sort of flopping about, but equally they're not flopping about on the floor, getting dirty, none of that. Also, so much easier to like store in a boot bag and stuff, because you can literally just stick them in and they'll stay up. So full props to Ariat for those, because some companies do those blow up ones. De Niro do the blow up ones, I think, and they are good. But I do sometimes find they deflate a little bit over time, and then the boots kind of sag and stuff. Whereas this is super firm. I can pick them up, super ideal. Makes them way easy to carry, and yeah, big big creds for that. Obviously it's not necessarily make it worth the coin, but it does kind of show that they've done that attention to detail and that they are aware that you've spent your money and you want to keep them looking fresh. So to add to that, they come with an individual bag for each boot. Very excessive. I don't know honestly how, I haven't used it that much with the bags, I mean, because it's ideal, but like I feel like I'd have to clean the soles a lot more if I wanted to use these bags more to keep them clean, because I feel like, yeah, I might scrub the whole boot and stuff, but I don't know if the sole's necessarily clean, and then I'm going to put it in the bag and just let it spread everywhere. So I haven't used the bags that much. I would use them if I've just cleaned them and then like want to keep them super clean, because it's like a nice soft cloth material, so it would definitely keep my boots clean and it stops them from rubbing off each other, rubbing off anything else in the boot bag. So I do think it's really good if you just clean them and you want to keep them clean, but after like I've just worn them, or even after an event and they're a bit grubby, I don't really want to put them back in this bag. So I would say the bag is ideal, just clean them, want to keep them clean. But then once I've worn them, I'd probably want to wait until I clean them again before I put this bag. But it's still super handy to have, and I do think it's super useful for like on the way to an event or something if you want to keep them clean. Very good. Another plus. And then there's a little accessories bag. It's quite cute, not going to lie. And it's got in here some spare laces for the front for this here. Oh god, maybe go a bit closer there for these here. So it's got 2 sets of those, which I think is brilliant. And then because finding more of these that are gonna fit is just not one, so rate that. And then I think this is a cloth. Honestly, haven't opened it. Don't know that a cloth is gonna do. It's one of those extra things. Yeah, it's a cloth. It feels a bit like, you know, those ones you get in sunglasses. Like, if I was at a 3-day and I wanted them to be like super like polished, ready, just before I'm going to go in the dressage, I'd probably use the cloth. But beyond that, it's going to stay in this bag, but I'm not saying no to it. And then another really useful thing is they've come with another set of insoles. Obviously, they've got the normal ones in there that they have, but then they also come with a pair of insoles. And so it says, we have provided a thinner insole option that can replace the ones in your boots to allow a more generous fit, which I think is super ideal. So basically these ones are thinner so that maybe when you're breaking them in, if you want them to be a bit thinner so that you've got a bit more room to try and have less blistering and things like that, ideal. But equally, you know, if you find the fit is really good, but that maybe it's a little bit tight on your feet and they don't quite have the half size that you want, try a different pair of insoles, and I think they make a huge difference. I haven't had to put them in mine because I think they're fine, but it would be interesting to try them out. Or equally, like maybe if I've got thicker socks on in the winter or something and I want a slightly more room in there, I'd put these in for sure. So another big bonus for that. Yeah, so basically the things that I would like to mention that I think I notice are of a high standard. So like the pros will go. So the pros so far are that it comes, you know, with all the right kit to keep them clean. I don't know if it doesn't come with any polish or anything, but you know, those boot bags keep them clean. You've got the spare laces and those extra insoles if you want to change, and equally you've got these really good boot trees. Another pro that I have to mention is the zip. Like, see if I can show you this, but it is heavy duty AF. Like, it is dense. It is in there. She is not playing. Like, it's properly well done and super sturdy. It's maybe slightly bulky where the zip is, but I quite like that. Kind of adds a bit to the shape and makes me like my legs look a bit nicer than they are, so I'm not going to complain about that. But yeah, the zip is super good, really, really strong. If anything, it's a bit stiff at the bottom around your ankle, so they will be quite difficult around your ankle to get up. They're not tight, but they are a bit stiff down here and then up. Also, another thing that I think is super sturdy is this bit at the top. So when your zip is up, you can tuck it in there, if you can see. You can tuck it in to that and then push it across and then put it into the popper, and your zip is not going anywhere. You can't see it. It's super sleek. This is also really super sturdy, this up here. Like, it's not going anywhere, and it's obviously been really well thought through, which I definitely appreciate a lot. It's obviously made with calf leather, which I mentioned before, which is obviously really good, high quality, soft, sturdy but not tough. And then if I show you the inside, they're really nice. They've got the little Divino, Ariat made in Italy moment, and your sizing and stuff in here, but it's super sturdy. And then also another good thing you've got inside is one of these little flaps here, which goes in like that and lies flat against the back of your leg. So when you zip up, you don't zip the bottom of your jodhpurs or your socks into the zip, because that ain't the one, chief. Genuine struggles. So I really, really appreciate that. It's not, I have to say, it's not something I have on my Dinero boots, and I was like, ooh, when I saw it. But that's super useful. But also it means you can use it to pull the boot on as well. So if you find it a bit difficult to get into your boots, it's sturdy, so you can pull it and use it to get it over your ankle as well. This is also super sturdy and super well done here. It's a nice big flap, and got a really good sturdy buckle that's easy to take off, but like, she's in place. So yeah, overall, I think that these are absolutely stunning. I think they are beautiful. The shape is incredible. They fit my legs so well. I have really enjoyed using them. One con that I did have is on the other boot, which is that I walked through some gravel, which we have on our yard, and I scuffed this. Honestly, the saddest time of my life. Literally did this the other day, and someone pointed it out to me, and I nearly cried. So not sure how I feel about it, because it's not happened to my Dineros, and I've obviously worn those on the gravel just as much. I didn't fall or slip or anything. I genuinely didn't notice this until someone pointed it out to me. So that is a big sad that it's come off like that, but equally with a bit of polish, cover up, and luckily it's on the inside toe, so no one's gonna see it. But that was a little bit sad, and I don't know if that's a comment on the leather. I'm not educated well enough to know whether it's something to do with the leather or not. If you know, let me know. I would be very interested to know. But it's not a huge con, but just something I thought I would mention that I didn't particularly appreciate, obviously, since I just spent quite a lot of money on them. The other thing, they were not the nicest to break in, I will say. They weren't that bad, but they are, I mean, all boots to break in are generally sore, and usually the sorer they are, the better they'll fit in the end, because they're like, you're really having to get in there and like mould. So in some ways it's fine, but I would say the first 2 weeks is pretty rough, especially like the back of your ankles, because they're quite stiff around the zip area. So I did find that a bit sore, but also that flap that you've got that goes here behind the zip, you want to make sure that that's flat when you're going to zip them up, because otherwise if it's got a wrinkle in, it kind of is like a pressure point then if the boots are tight while you're breaking them in, and then that can be a bit sore. It's not major, but I did notice that. But yeah, they're relatively easy to zip up. Like I said before, they are a bit stiff to zip up, just like this part at the bottom, just where they're quite tight around the, well shaped, and like they hold their shape really well around the ankle, which I do like, because then you don't get that sagginess, which I sometimes find with other boots. But at least, like, don't be afraid that it's a bit tight there. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily tight on your feet. It just means like that it's a bit stiff. So there is that. I don't find they chop me in the back of the leg, and then like behind the knee, which is great, because like don't like that. But that is obviously like, that implies that your boot's too long, so then you probably want to be aware of that anyway when you're trying them on. But yeah, they don't stab me in the back of the knee. They haven't dropped massively, which I like, because I don't want them to be wrinkly around my ankles. I cannot stand that. Yeah, but overall, to break in, they were fine. A little bit painful, but not anything major. Because they zipped up so well, I did find like I didn't get a dead calf, which does happen, where you get like, can't feel anything in your calves or your feet as a result. But because of the shape, because they've got a bit more of that give here, they're not loose around my calves, they actually fit perfectly, but they don't, I mean maybe slightly snug, but like in a nice way, but they don't cut off circulation to my feet essentially in the process of breaking them in. So I haven't had to like stretch the leather or anything, so I have found that was really good. They are quite thick, I will say, like especially for me in comparison to my Dineros, they are quite thick in here, and it will wear away and obviously get thinner over time, and I already feel that they are better. But initially when I first put them on, I literally felt my legs were like they were held in the shape, they wouldn't move. I couldn't feel much of my saddle or like my lower leg, in the sense that I couldn't feel like whether I was wrapped on the horse necessarily or something, but just because they were a bit I felt the material was a bit thicker. But I wouldn't say that's necessarily like a fault of them, and it would depend on what the boot is like that you're used to. So obviously my Dineros are quite thin because that's how I like them generally. So in comparison, I found these quite thick and I found them difficult to necessarily feel what my legs were doing, which was not ideal at Swalcliffe, but it wasn't terrible because obviously I know my legs do know what they're doing, but I did feel like I had less feeling or like awareness of what was going on. But that is definitely already getting better within a couple of like 2 or 3 weeks, I would say, of regular use. I've worn them every day obviously because I haven't been able to wear my Dineros anyway. But yeah, I have found that by wearing them every day they have broken in quite well, and that I've got that I feel like they're less thick. It might be that I'm just getting used to them, but also I think that they are slightly sort of getting softer and more malleable and things as I'm wearing them more. Overall, I'm really impressed with them. I think if you want to really invest in a pair of boots, it's difficult because for around the same amount of money, I could have bought for the same amount of money, I could have bought another pair of Dineros that I could have had measured, made and fitted for me, and with, you know, just as good quality leather and just as good quality, you know, care. So to a degree, there's part of me that's like, if you want to spend that much money, you know, somewhere in that £400 or £500 ball mark, you can get a slightly more bespoke pair or a slightly different type of pair, or even a similar pair that maybe might fit better or that might be more what you want. Equally, if you're a big Ariat fan, or if you aren't the type of person who wants to go out and get a pair measured, that you want to be able to go into a store, try them on, and they'll fit like a glove out of the box, these are it. I have to say, if you've got that kind of shape, leg shape, where you've got that slightly bigger calf, these are really, really good. They are very well made, they are high quality, and they are, you know, really, really good boots. And do I think they're worth £500? No, because I know that I could spend the same amount of money and get a more bespoke pair of boots. However, now that I've spent the £500, do I regret it? No. Because they do the job, they do it very well, they are high quality, I think they're going to last me really well, and I don't think, oh, I spent loads of money and it wasn't worth it, it was a waste of my time. I think I've spent the money and they are doing what they need to do, But if I had loads of time, obviously I had to kind of panic buy these, which is slightly frustrating because of how much they cost. But you know, it's done. The circumstances came that way, and that was what I needed to do. So now that I've spent the money, do I regret it? No, because they are good and whatever. But if I was gonna go again and have that money and be like, okay, I've got time to go and get a pair measured by De Niro and that is my choice every day of the week. But, you know, if you've got that money, you are looking for a nice new pair of Ariats that are going to fit really well, they're going to last really well, they're going to look good, they look super smart, and if that's your type of thing, I absolutely think that you've spent that money and you spent it well, for sure. It was useful for you guys. I hope it was a good review. I'm going to try and do more of reviews like this on pieces of kit that, you know, were maybe a bit more expensive or a bit more interesting or out there, and I will let you guys know if I think it's worth having or worth spending your coin on. If it was useful, I hope it helps you guys make a decision on whether or not you'd like to buy a pair. If you do, send me pictures, let me know. I think that would be super cool. Hope you guys are all keeping well. Hope you're all staying inside. And I will see you guys in the next video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a like if you enjoyed kind of the format and the topic, and and comment down below if there's other kit that you'd like to see reviewed, that you'd be interested in knowing. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.